We're just going to do all of that in one episode, and it's just like daggers to the heart.
I don't even want any of the images in my head about what he was up to before Komugi. So even to this day, I haven't seen the rest of what Merom's up to. I think it'd be cute to see Ram hang out with Puck.
I ended up having to do robot arms, and Mommy was sitting in on that session, and she was like cracking up because I was literally like doing robot arms.
You're watching convention coverage.
You may know me as Elaine from Seven Deadly Sins, Hu Tao from Genshin Impact. You guys sounded like ghosty.
Yeah, that was cute.
Philo from Rising of the Shield Hero. Yay! Rin from Catherine Full Body.
Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah. I'm a Demon Slayer. I'm a Kanao Demon Slayer. And other things. How about you, Ryan?
I'm Ryan Bartley. I'm Ram in ReZero, but also I'm Rei Ayanami in Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Woo.
I'm Sage in Sonic the Hedgehog in Sonic Frontiers. What else? Oh, Makomo in Demon Slayer, Komugi in Hunter x Hunter, Pom Pom Purr in Hello Kitty, and yeah, a bunch of other characters.
Do you ever wish you had voice acted the other's character? Because people see them so differently.
I didn't really know much about the show ahead of time, but
Yeah.
pink is like one of my favorite colors, so I was just like, I hope I booked the pink-haired one, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I haven't really ever thought about that, because you just kind of fall in love with who you're assigned, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you grow to kind of love them.
Yeah, you connect with them. It's a weird like experience because it's not like they're your child, but they are this like
It's like a
intimate
part of you.
extension
Yeah.
of you.
Mhm. You find yourself in the roles that you play.
Absolutely, for
So
sure.
it'd be hard to imagine now.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say is that obviously this is going to be an insane spoiler. If you have not watched season 2, please cover your ears. But the one thing I do miss is just being on the show. I miss being in the show.
Yeah.
That's what I miss.
I
That's
miss
what
my
I want.
sister.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
It's not going to be soon.
Any day now.
It is definitely not going to be soon.
We're a little bit sad because they had this big poster on the side of, we just had Anime Expo over 4th of July weekend in LA. There's this big ReZero poster, like 2 stories. It had all the characters except Rem and Ram.
Ouch.
And it was like all the candidates
Ouch.
for the final selection. All the little sisters with the purple hair, and it like everyone, all the townspeople, and it was no Rem and Ram. So we don't really know what's coming. We have no idea if we'll be back or when, and
Yeah.
we hope so.
Yeah.
Well, we don't
really
know.
hope so.
We also haven't heard anything about if we're dubbing it, or they don't tell you until they like
nothing. Yeah,
until
we're like-
they need you.
Yes, exactly. It's like,
So-
are you available? It's like, oh, I guess we're doing.
Yeah, it's literally like, what's your availability next week? Like
You're like, oh,
you don't find out till
to know.
they need you. So I mean,
Kinda
there's
crazy.
Yeah. But then again, like, what's the point in asking until you need to book? You know what
No,
I mean?
exactly.
So we find out when they tell us, and we don't know anything more than you guys at this point. But fingers crossed.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Of
you.
course.
What was it like voicing multiple characters in Isekai Quartet?
Weird.
So much fun.
Yeah, we did not know that was gonna happen.
And it was so goofy and lighthearted. Like,
Yeah.
it's so nice. Sometimes things can be really heavy or feel hard in some way. It's so nice to just like
have a break.
laugh
Yeah.
and be goofy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah, we had no idea that was going to happen. So in case you guys don't know, Isekai Quartet is a chibi spin-off of 4 different shows.
Yeah.
Kind of.
ReZero. Yeah, now it's 5.
Is it 5 now?
Didn't they
Well,
add another?
Well, so
It
did they
was
officially?
ReZero, Konosuba,
Was Shield
Rising
Hero in
of-
the original?
Oh, I don't know that. Maybe
Maybe
the
that
one
was
they
the added.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What were the other 2?
yes, in season 2 they
Overlord?
also added
Overlord.
Rising of the Shield Hero. Overlord was already in
In the first season. What are the
Yeah.
original 4? ReZero, Konosuba, Overlord,
Tanya the Evil.
Tanya. That's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We aren't in those 2 because those
No.
are done in Texas.
Texas.
But we're both in Konosuba and we're both in ReZero. And Konosuba, you play Wiz.
Yeah.
And I played Chamosuke the cat, which is like kind of fun. And, it was cool to get to see all of them interact. And then they added Shield Hero. So now
Yeah.
you have Philo as well.
I had 3. It was
Crazy.
so fun.
Yeah. It's fun. We like doing that show. And they were so nice.
There was
to,
a
like-
movie and we never got to dub it.
No way.
I'm so sad.
Oh, I think someone added us on IMDb
Oh,
on the
really?
movie, and that's how I knew it existed. Yeah. But
Man.
we didn't do it. I don't know why they added it to IMDb. Wishful thinking.
I would love to do more
I
seasons of
know.
that.
We're
a cute
we're always
show.
down to come back for Isekai Quartet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Episode 15 probably probably one of the most like influential episodes of ReZero. What did you think of voice acting that? Because that was a crazy episode to watch.
So everybody, it's always like 15 or 18, and 18 is of course extremely sentimental and all that jazz, but I'm a horror fan through and through. So 15 all the way, absolutely. So for me, I had chills the whole time. It was absolutely super, super intense. And recording the end of it was really, really, really difficult on me because of some personal losses that I had just incurred. So yeah, it was very intense, and I felt millions of things. It was a lot.
Do you remember when you saw it in Japanese? Like what you thought?
You mean in preview, or like watching it before actually going in?
Did you watch the whole episode before?
I did, but not like immediately before. So when I had seen it, it was so emotional. Like, I don't know if you remember that whole episode, but
I do, but not as well as you.
it's just, it's torturous. Like, they really, like, how would you feel hurt the most? We're just going to do all of that in one episode, and it's just like daggers to the heart.
Is that the speech episode, the super speech, or is
No, that's 18.
Oh.
15 is the one where she goes into the cave with Betelgeuse and tries to save Subaru, and it's the Twister meme.
Okay,
Rem
yeah,
one
yeah,
where
yeah.
he twists her apart and she dies in Subaru's arms, and then they go back to town. All of you are dead.
Gosh,
And
it gets dark.
and then
Where they see all the body. Yeah.
he freezes to death with Rem in his arms, and his head falls.
He doesn't
off.
make it.
And
Yeah, I
it's
remember
very
he, like,
Stanley
falls.
Kubrick ending. It's literally it's horror. It's
Yeah. It's a
Very
cool
intense.
episode, but yeah, it's an
Super
intense
cool.
show. We love this show because it does have the funny moments and the sad moments and the intense moments and the scary moments. Like,
Yeah.
it is like a
like
mix.
every
It's
genre.
a really
It's kinda
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, I love how it does that because it does all of them well too. Like the funny moments are genuinely funny. The sweet moments are genuinely sweet. You know,
Very
like
much.
it does everything pretty well. It's a really well written show, and we feel really honored to be on it.
Is that your favorite episode?
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
My
nice.
favorite show overall. So
Aw,
Yeah.
thank you.
you guys did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
So during season 2, one of the witches shows Subaru about like all of his past deaths and what's happened afterwards. Do you ever think about any of his deaths and wonder what happened after he died, since we got to see a glimpse of what it looks like after he's passed away in those past lives?
I try not to think about things my character wouldn't know because it doesn't really
so true,
it doesn't
though.
really help my performance. You know what I mean? Like you kind of even like I remember for Hunter x Hunter when I got cast, I was reading her wiki and it says something about Merum. I click on his. I read my whole thing. It's like, oh, she kind of falls in love with this guy. I click on his. I start reading about his, and it's like really dark, like right away, like bad things. So I like didn't read the rest of it, and I never watched any of his episodes before Komugi and Merum meet because I didn't want to see him in that light because I thought it'd make my job harder as an actor to fall in love with this character, you know? So I didn't even want any of the images in my head about what he was up to before Komugi. So even to this day, I haven't seen the rest of what Merum's up to before that point. So like, you know, you kind of have to take into account like the information that your character has and really just lean on that, because if you have anything else in your mind that's clouding that, it's going to slightly change your perspective and it might come through in the performance in a way that you don't intend. So truly, like, I really kind of just want to stick with the knowledge that my character would know. And I don't know, because I just feel like it wouldn't serve the performance, you know?
Yeah, I have to just totally agree.
Thank you.
But thank you, yeah.
How do you like connect with Rem and Ram on like a personal level? Like,
It always feels like that a little bit here and there for me with different characters because it's just impossible. Like, we are human beings and we're going in to record these characters. Like, we can't just like pretend we're not a human being and not bring, like, you are going to put yourself into it. It's and that's why they book you, because they want your heart and your mind and your
What
soul
you bring to it
in that
as
character.
your lived experience.
Like,
you know?
literally, part of Ram's, like, what makes Ram come to life is literally Ryan. It's
Ditto.
Ryan. Yeah. It's really exciting and kind of like cool. I could geek out about it all forever. But yeah, for Rem, I think I have like a really soft exterior, but it's nice to think, and I know it's true, but it's, you know, it's hard for me to see it sometimes, that I do have like a really enormous underlying strength, and I am really, really, really insanely strong, and I do attract characters like that. So I think that's the big thing for Rem for me.
Bree is one of the strongest people I know. So yeah,
Not muscles,
she
but
books
inside.
They sound sweet, they sound gentle, but there's an inner strength.
Yeah.
And you'll find that sometimes the characters that you book do sort of resonate with some sort of unspoken kind of essence about you.
Yeah.
And for example, I play a lot of characters that are like kind of weirdly smart but young, and sometimes they don't. They tend to be AI and maybe a little bit confused about like their human counterparts, like Sage in Sonic or Rei Ayanami in Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I feel like that's something. Intellect is a hard thing to fake. It's also a hard thing to cover up. I don't get to play a lot of dumb characters, and I think it's like that's a hard thing. It's hard to act smarter or dumber than you are. It's just hard to cover that up because it comes through in not only like the script or the lines, but the way that you say things and the speech pattern that you have. And so yeah, there's always these kind of things about us that hopefully will help, accentuate parts of the character that we bring to the table that other people don't. And that's why, you book the roles that you don't, and you don't book the roles that you don't book, But we always kind of try to relate to them in different ways. It was a little bit tricky for me in ReZero specifically because so much of her motivation is in protecting her sister and that kind of. And I'm an only child, so I don't have that sisterly thing, and that's such a specific lived experience.
Totally.
So I will say that that was actually kind of a challenge that I don't usually bump up against. Is the sibling love, the sibling thing, is so specific and lived that I will never really understand that, unfortunately. But hopefully we tried our best. I tried my best. So, but yeah, you try. What I use is a technique in acting we called substitution, which is just taking something else that you feel the same way about and trying to use that as your context in your head a little bit, and kind of fill in the blanks with that. So for Rem and Ram, I would use substitution and kind of try and think about other people that I felt protective about in that same way that Ram feels about Rem, because that's really essential to that character. So you have to kind of dig for that a little bit. And I will say that truly was a little bit more challenging than most of the characters I play, because it is just as an experience that I just have not lived, unfortunately. So but you find it. You use substitution if you don't have anything in your real life to use.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
I guess
so much.
that is for your real life, but yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I love your cosplay, by the way. You look very cool.
A lot of the time during the show, your characters are talking, but most of the time, mainly because, he's the protagonist, it's with Subaru. But I wanted to know, especially since you guys have been playing your characters, if there was anyone else, like another character aside from him, that you feel like your character, you feel like you would have wanted your character to interact with more, or you would have fun interacting with more?
I think it'd be cute to see Ram hang out with Puck.
Yes.
Just because he's cute. We want to pet Puck. Squish his little cheeks.
Man, you guys are asking such interesting questions. I don't know. Do you have one that you're like, oh my gosh?
I feel like I would have loved to see her interact more with Amelia. I really love Rem, and I feel like a lot of the time she interacted with Subaru. But I feel
I like that. Yeah, I'll say Amelia.
Mm-hmm. Are there any scenes with just Rem and Amelia?
I don't think so. Maybe in the OVA. No, there isn't, because in the
That's
OVA it's Rem and Amelia and Subaru for this one little scene. I don't think there's anything.
That would be interesting to see them finally have their moment where Amelia's sorry, we're getting married. That would be heartbreaking, but also could be very juicy. We'll see.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you think that your respective characters would approve of your sister's love interest?
No. No, ain't no way Subaru Barusu is good enough for my sissy. And also, why is he messing with Amelia? Oh, this is offensive, and I want to shut this down immediately. At the same time, obviously, I want Rem to be happy if he's gonna make her happy, but he's not good enough for her. Come on, let's be real. Right? He gets it.
I don't know if that was just a
No, for both of you.
Oh, so wait, what would be the vice versa?
Well, I guess Roswell. Yeah, who do you consider her
It would
love
be
interest?
Roswell, because that's who she always shows the most affection
What's
toward.
his name? Zeno's character. Felix? Is that his name? Am I
don't
blanking
know.
on his name?
I have no idea.
What's his name, guys? Felix? Yeah. Felix? Felix? Zeno's character. He's like kind of too aggressive. I feel like he's too aggro, and yeah, I don't know. But what do you think of Roswell?
I don't know. I feel like I kind of ship it.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah. I say go for it, Ram.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. He wears more makeup than she does, but it's all good.
He's kind of a whole vibe.
Yeah, he's like Bowie-esque. Like, kind of.
Nothing bad about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's better than Barusu.
Me and my friend here watched ReZero at the same time together,
Yeah.
and I remember us talking about how we were so mad at Subaru. Yeah,
As I call him, Barusu.
we were so mad at him because he didn't choose Rem when he had the chance
That's
to.
fair. He's
So-
not good enough for her.
Right.
I think we can
right.
all agree in this room that he's
Yeah.
not good enough for me.
I was so mad. But then that got me thinking, he has 5 different routes he could have chose. And I'll list them out. You could choose the Witch of Greed, the Witch of Envy, you could give in. You can choose, what's her name? Ooh, the librarian. I forgot her name right now.
Oh,
It's blanking.
Beatrice.
Beatrice,
Oh, yeah.
Rem,
Duh.
and then he chose Amelia. So my question for you, if you had to choose, besides Rem, because fan favorite, who would you guys choose?
For Subaru?
Yeah. If you were Subaru and you pursued one of them, which one would you go for?
What, isn't it Amelia? Isn't that
Well,
easy?
yeah. But I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. That's hard to say. Because I always say Rem, obviously. I don't know.
Do you have somebody that you're like, oh, you know?
Okay, so I would have chosen Rem, obviously, but for my sake, since I said you can't choose Rem, I think I would go with Beatrice.
Really?
that's
What about
because-
Felt?
Um,
I always liked Felt. I actually thought I was going to book Felt.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
did you originally audition for again?
For Rem, Ram, Felt, and I think Beatrice.
Interesting.
There
It's
was
so
4.
interesting learning who the casting
Yeah, who
director
did
sent.
you-
I only auditioned for Rem and Ram.
I know for sure there was 4, but I don't remember who the 4th. I know for sure Felt, and I thought I was going to book Felt because she's more of that like spunky
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
vibe, and I don't know. I just thought I could do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think the other one was Beatrice. I'm pretty sure there were 4.
And I think Kaylee auditioned for Amelia and Rem.
Really?
And
Yeah.
Beatrice? I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. But and then we didn't, like I said, we don't really know much about the show. And honestly, sometimes that's for the best. 'Cause
Oh.
if you start watching it and
Big
you
time.
don't book it,
It hurts.
it's so much worse.
Pain.
So that's a weird tip, but don't watch the show before you
Yeah.
book the job.
For
because
sure.
then you get you get
Oh, it's
feelings.
so painful.
So you catch feelings. And
Ouch.
I just remember this was kind of early in both of our anime careers.
Yeah.
So I hadn't done that much anime at the time, and like I just really wanted to be someone with pink hair. so that was like my main takeaway when we got the signs. It's like, ooh, she has pink hair.
I
and
love
then
that.
yeah, like when I booked it, and then I had pink hair because of ReZero.
yeah, you did.
For
That's
2
right.
years.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I dyed my hair pink and I had
That was
pink
very
hair
cute.
for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much all we knew, thank goodness, because it would have been too heartbreaking, I think, if we got attached to the characters and you start imagining yourself as them and stuff, and then if you don't book it, it's sad times.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If Rem and Ram had superpowers, one each, what would they be?
Maybe Rem could be hydro, something watery.
Yeah. Oh, because then you would be really good at cleaning.
Sure.
Clean the whole mansion.
Yeah.
I honestly think that Ram would try invisibility because then she could just nap all day and no one would be able to find her.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys were to be sent into let's say the ReZero world.
Oh my
What
gosh.
superpower would you want? Whether it's super strength, teleportation, or super speed.
I would want whatever superpower would protect me against whatever happened to Rem in the show, because that is super terrifying. Actually terrifying.
Yeah. I don't know, because you can't, I guess you can die, but then you'll be back. So I think it'd be cool to be able to breathe underwater and then you could go explore, be a mermaid. Yeah. That would be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if you could give Rem and Ram a Pokemon, which one would you pick?
Okay, I'm gonna say Jigglypuff for Ram because she's sassy but cute and she's pink. For Rem, Snorlax would be a funny answer. they're both asleep. Yeah.
Dead.
And she would look so cute with Snorlax. That would be
That is
adorable.
actually
That's
quite true.
hilarious.
That is very true.
Yeah. we'll go with that.
Yeah. Is there any funny moments from the recording booth of like ReZero or any other anime, like any funny stories?
When we started recording, obviously Rem and Ram are very kind of like monotone and robotic, and we both ended up talking about, because we don't see each other when we're recording, and we're recording at different times, so we had a conversation. We found out we were both doing really interesting physicalities to be able to get this like very, so for me, I ended up having to do robot arms, and Mommy was sitting in on that session, and she was like cracking up, because I was literally like doing robot arms.
And I would just go like this as I was talking to keep my voice like all the same level, like, well, you know, if we do it this way, it keeps it very nice and flat. And so we were both, and we had no idea. Sister, Rem. We had no idea, though, that we were both doing something like very odd and specific physically, because that's just, you have to put your body into it sometimes.
You have to.
And that helps you keep keep it flat or keep it monotone, or get excited if you're not Rem and Ram, but if you were playing a character that yelled a lot, you would probably, have your hands up, and just using your body really helps you as an actor. So but we found out like it just randomly came up in conversation like months later that we were both like doing something weird. And it's so funny that neither, like our directors, no one told us.
I know.
But we eventually found out. So it was cool too, because they speak at the same time sometimes, like we sort of took turns
being the first one to record.
Whoever went first kind of set the pace. Yeah. And that was, the pace is sort of set by the mouth flaps to some degree, but in terms of the emphasis and stuff like that, like whoever went first had to lay it down, and then the next person just matched that, So we kind of took turns, like whoever, and that was just random in terms of who happened to have recorded that certain scene first. So it kind of went back and forth, and I don't feel like we really remember like who did what first.
No. I just remember it was here and there. I did something first, you did something first.
Exactly, and we would just kind of always try and match each other. Luckily, they do play, like we would preview, so they preview in Japanese always, line by line before you do it, but if it's a sync line and you have to say it with the same inflection as someone else, they preview it in English for you too.
Yeah, which was very important.
So we watch in Japanese, and then I would listen to Brie, and then I would do it.
Yeah. The only other comedic funny thing I can think of is pronouncing Subaru's name.
Yeah.
Because there was like, it's like whatever you did was wrong. It wasn't Subaru, and it was just like, and it just got really funny.
It's tricky. And sometimes, everybody's ear hears something different. Yes. So you think you're saying it the way they want it, and then you're not. And I remember being very relieved because I got to say Barusu. And I was like,
so lucky.
Good.
Get out of jail free card.
Exactly. Because none of us could figure out, Subaru? No, Subaru. Subaru.
Yeah.
Subaru. It was
pretty funny.
Thank God for Barusu.
Lucky.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
In the show, Rem is crying and still talking, and I wanted to know if, for any special tips and tricks on how you trained your voice to do that.
It's really tricky because the truth is when you're crying sometimes, it is not pretty and it does not sound pretty. You get really squeaky and it doesn't translate, and then you can't understand yourself. So it's this weird place of like you have to feel some of the emotion, but you have to kind of, at least for me, be somewhat a little bit out of it so your voice can sound like you're speaking words.
Yeah, it's still important to be understood.
You have to. So it's just this like delicate little place where you're kind of using affectations, and it's so weird. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, how would you even describe it?
It's tricky. I mean, I learned very early on in my acting journey that people don't really want to see you cry. They want to see you try not to cry.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
Yeah.
So, because humans don't try to cry.
Oh, and they're always holding it back, and you're trying to like be strong.
Yeah. So I think like you have to be in the moment, but if you're always kind of holding back a little bit, which makes sense because that's what the character would be doing.
Totally.
Then that's kind of where you find that balance. But
yeah, it's so hard to
That's
describe.
a good question,
but it is a really interesting question. I've never been asked that in my life.
Since you do Ram and Rei, how they're kind of both like a monotone and like submissive kind of character.
Yeah.
Did any of like the skill set or techniques you used for one or the other transfer over to the other character?
I think that honestly, playing Ram was probably a really good training ground for for practicing that kind of monotone thing, because it's monotone, but it can't be totally dead, or else it's boring, you know. So you have to be able to really finesse like a nuanced performance where there's meaning in it. It's just not big. It's not a big performance. So when I was doing Rei Ayanami, I remember Carrie Karenan's was the director of the dub, and she described it to me like Rei has all these feelings, but they're just, instead of most people's palettes are like this, she has all those same feelings, but they're just here. So it's just bringing it all in. And I did film acting before I did voiceover and anime and stuff. And so I kind of leaned on that. Like it's just tighter. It's just everything's smaller, everything's more nuanced, and that's how you can still do kind of a deadpan monotone character but not make it boring. But I do think that playing Ram really helped me probably get ready to play Rei Ayanami, and then Sage is the same way in Sonic. So I play a lot of characters like that have that. And it takes a fine-tuned instrument. You have to have really a lot of control over your craft to be able to dabble that tiny, and show things that small. So, but yeah, I do really think that I probably learned a lot being Ram before Rei, and then using that to build on as I went.
Thank you for loving ReZero.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We'll see you next time.